Okay, so I'm going to real quick walk you through a problem of finding surface area. Let me get some pens here. Surface area of a triangular prism and volume. We're going to do volume too. Okay? All right. Got a couple markers. Now, when you're looking at a triangular prism, a triangular prism, like a tent, this is like in real life, this would be like a tent. That's just the most logical thing that I can think of that makes sense to me. Or the roof of a house, right? You have the front that has a triangle and the back that has a matching triangle. And then it's connected by three rectangles. So you have a rectangular base, then you have the side here that's a rectangle, and the other side that's a rectangle. If we were to unfold this shape, this is what you would see. You have the front of your triangle, the back triangle, and then the three rectangles in the middle. Now, the type of triangle that we have determines the type of rectangles that we have. So this triangle here is an isosceles triangle. It has two 5 length sides and a 6 base. Okay, so a 6 length base, two 5s on the side. So we call that an isosceles triangle. That means that because it's an isosceles triangle, two of the rectangles are going to be the same. So this rectangle is going to be the same as the other side. Okay, so if you think about the two roof tops, those are going to be the same dimensions. The base, however, is going to be a little different because the base lines up with the base of the triangle. So the bottom of this rectangular prism or triangular prism lines up with the base of the triangle. Okay, now we have the height. Now this is where sometimes kids get confused. This is not the height of the triangle. This is the side of the triangle, the length of the side. The height is perpendicular to the base. It goes right up the middle. So they're telling us here that the height is 4. Okay? So now we have all the information we need to find the surface area. So I like to write it out. I like to list things out. That's just how I know I do it. I have two triangles. And both of these triangles are the same. So if I find one, I just can write that same measurement for the second. So I know the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. We are dividing by 2 because it's a triangle, and triangle is half of a square or rectangle. So I know that I can do basically like the same thing as I do for a square, length times width, but for a triangle it's base times height divided by 2. 6 times 4 divided by 2. Okay, so each of these triangles is going to be 12. 6 times 4 is 24 divided by 2. So I have this triangle that's 12 and this triangle that's 12. So both of the triangles are 12. Okay, 12, 12. So now I'm finished with my triangles. Now I can do my rectangles. Now there are 3 rectangles, and it doesn't matter what you label them. We have rectangle 1, we have rectangle 2, and we have rectangle 3. I might say rectangle 1 could be the base or the bottom, right? And I could say 2 and 3 are the left and the right sides. But it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't, just as long as you have all 3 rectangles. So I'm going to start with my base, the middle one. That's the bottom, okay? So I know that the base of my rectangular triangular prism is 6 by 11. 6 by 11. So that would be 6 times 11, which is 66. So I'm going to record that. It's 66 units squared. That's the inside there of the base, okay? The bottom of the prism. Now I'm going to do the sides, the roofs, like the side slants. 5 times 11, which is 55. And I have another one, the exact same one here. And again, if I were to fold this up, these sides would line up with the sides of my triangle. See that? The 5 and the 5, the 5 and the 5. It's this right here. Okay, so we have 55 and we have 55. Now I'm going to carefully add it all up. I'm adding it all up because I need the total surface area. The total surface area. So that means I need the area of every single side of the prism. All right, so let's pull out my calculator, and here we go. All right, 12 plus 12 plus 66 plus 55 plus 55. And that equals 200. So all together, our surface area is 200 units. Okay, all together. Now, let's see about the volume. This is the surface area. Surface area is the harder part because we're finding the area of every single side of our shape. And I might even put 12 in here and 12 in here. Again, 6 times 4 divided by 2. 6 times 4 divided by 2. So each of those is 12. All right, now let's do volume. Volume is easy. Now, volume of a three-dimensional shape is like finding area, but we're adding a dimension. We're adding a third dimension. Okay, so volume is length times width times height. But this is a prism, rectangular prism. Okay, a rectangular prism. So what happens if we have a triangular prism like this? This is a triangular prism. We're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to cut it in half because it's just like finding the area of our triangles. We're finding the volume, which is like area, just an area of the three dimensions, all three dimensions, but this is a triangular prism. So for a triangular prism, which is what we have, it's the same, but instead of length, we say base, okay? Because base of a triangle is the same as its length. Base times width times height. Okay, and then we're just going to divide that by 2, just like we did when we found the area of our triangles. So we have our base, which is 6, okay? We have our width, which is 11, and our height, which is 4. So I'm going to pull out my calculator, and I'm going to do 6 times 11 times 4, and I got 264. But I'm going to divide that by 2 because it's not a rectangular prism. It's not a rectangular prism, it's a triangular prism. So I have to do that one extra step. And my total volume is 132 units cubed. Okay? 132 units cubed. So I have to make sure that I divide by 2 in order to find the volume of a triangular prism. You want to make sure that you're using the base, the length, the width, and the height. Okay? We don't need these, the sides, for the volume. That's just so we can find surface area. Okay? So there you go. Nice little poster. I'll take a picture of this, put it in our notes.